10 years ago, I was exploring the odd side of YouTube. In my pilgrimage, I came across an animation from a user named Rock Candy, one called Attention Please. In it, a pink-shirted girl walked into a strange building and found a blonde girl, and no matter what the pink-shirted girl did, whether she waved a hand in front of her face, played a flute, or flipped her skirt, the blonde girl simply ignored her. But something interesting happened during the video. The pink-shirt girl began to transform into different forms. She became a faceless ghost, she made it rain and snow inside the blonde girl's room, she even turned into a Toho reference, but still, nothing worked. Finally, the pink girl turned invisible, by which the blonde girl looked around, brought out a boombox, and began to have a party with a bunch of varied and weird-looking characters. The pink girl, agitated by this, became visible, brought out a knife, and killed the blonde girl. The pink murder girl goes to leave, but shuts off the light before doing so. Suddenly, the colors invert. All music is replaced by a droning noise, and the dead blonde girl transforms into a black and white face that transports us to a nightmare realm, only to have the pink girl scream and wake up in her bed. I needed context. Luckily, scrolling down to the description let me know that this was a parody animation for a game called Yume Nikki. I also learned that Pinky was named Madatsuki, Blondie was named Poniko, and the face was called Uboa. Or maybe it's Uboa? I've never actually heard anyone say this thing's name. It is also to my understanding that most people learned about this game one way or another because of this face. This face, by the way, has a 1 in 64 chance of happening in-game. It was probably designed to be one of the many well-kept secrets in this game, yet literally nobody who knows about this game doesn't know this thing exists. The internet is certainly a fun place to try and keep secrets. But more to the point, I think I owe a lot to this game, because it was learning about Yume Nikki that led to my love of surreal, abstract visuals. Something that could be unnerving at times, but also incredibly beautiful. This game is not something that comes around often. It's something that I feel doesn't even get replicated in the same way. It's special, it's unique, and hopefully, if I'm not awful at this whole thing, I hope I can convey why that is. So join me as we reminisce on Yume Nikki. So, Yume Nikki doesn't really have a story, at least one that's told directly to you. The premise is merely this: you control Madatsuki, a girl that lives alone in an apartment who, for reasons you are unaware of, doesn't want to leave her room. Instead, wanting to just play games on her retro NES-inspired console or simply go to bed. Doing so sends her to the world of her dreams, a land comprised of 12 different realms that are all segmented with doors. In these realms, you find effects, things that can transform Madatsuki into a plethora of different things, from a witch and frog to a cat girl and a traffic light, or something as simple as giving her a hat and a scarf or blonde hair. A lot of these effects have special abilities that will be useful in helping you find new areas, or interacting with the world to see what happens. And that's pretty much the game. Explore this world of dreams, find the 24 effects, and enjoy the adventure. When I replay this game, I usually go to the graffiti world, not only so I can hear all the noises the graffiti makes when you step on it, but also so I can get the bicycle. And then, even though it means nothing, I go to see Poniko. Maybe it's because of that video all those years ago, but there's a part of me that feels some sort of connection with Poniko. Or maybe part of me just feels like giving Madatsuki a feeling of companionship early on. I'll oftentimes go to Poniko's house, especially after some of the weirder moments of the game, and just have Madatsuki enjoy the company of another girl like her. Even if they're not on speaking terms, they can just relax and spend time together as the rhythmic tones that are encapsulated in this bedroom plays on in a calming manner. guess on that note, the music in this game is very short. Tracks will often only be around 6 seconds or less and loop with the intent to replicate a full track, but all of the melodies chosen end up working well to illustrate the tone and feel of each area. Every area in this game has its own music, and that along with each world's unique setting and charm will make every single place memorable in its own way. The thing with some of these places though is that they could take a lot of work to try and get to them, and some places you can go in, but you can't go back out. Case in point, I decided to try the U-boa trick before continuing, and wouldn't you know it, the 4th time I shut off the lights and it showed up. I think it knew I was recording. But regardless, you can't walk back out the door once you do this, so the only thing to do is get transported to the Nightmare Realm with the quote-unquote bloody touching monster there just vibing. In times like these, Madotsuki can pinch herself to wake her back up, and this lets you easily go back to the hub of Dream Doors, often called the Nexus. After saying hi to Poniko, I usually go back into the graffiti door so I can go to the mall and find what is probably my favorite effect in this game, the flute. Nothing's more fun than just duding away on a flute as you walk through your dreams. Oh. From there, it's just wherever I feel like going. And this time around, I decided to get my least favorite area out of the way so it can just be happy times for the rest of the journey, which means I had to go to hell. In 4 areas around your dreams, you'll find these red, geometric NPCs called Nenrikido. These are mainly your only way of going to hell, and hell is a big, disorientating maze. It's like the 2nd largest area in the game, there's lots of paths, and there are 2 effects that are only accessible by going through this place. I don't like it. This area does house another thing of note though, and that's the Toringen. These bird brains are normally harmless unless you antagonize them, but here, they're angry all the time. If they catch you, you'll be transported to an inescapable room, and you will have to pinch your cheek again, or get the eye palm effect, which just sends you back to the Nexus, so you can get back to exploring that much quicker. What isn't going to be quicker is this godforsaken maze. Goodness, I can feel my eyes sending me a cease and desist the longer I stay in here. Oh, there we go. Here's one. It's you, right? Nope, it was the other guy. Whoops! Oh well, at least we can hang out here. Hey buddy, take me to the Famicom land. Yeah! Ah, look at this. It's so charming. You could practically smell the Mother series all over this place. And it stinks! Making it through the Famicom world leads to the Shield Folk world, a very interesting starter world filled with said Shield Folk, an assortment of Technicolor inhabitants that don't interact with Madotsuki at all, and I'm beginning to sense a pattern here. And Nicoin! Come here, Nicoin. Man, you're a slippery floating cat token. Gotcha! Now, with the power of anime, we can have piercing red eyes. Also, the cat effect draws any NPC near you, very useful for puzzle solving and just wanting to not be alone. Back into hell we go, this time with feeling. Found the docks again and all that looping around just so we can make ourselves plump. And you know what, that is perfectly fine, we respect all healthy body types here. But back at it again at Krispy Kreme trying to find the other effect path, and I swear I've been in this place for over 20 minutes. There it is! Alrighty, just gotta go through the super dark forest. You could have an effect by now that helps you see this place more clearly, but it's dim enough that I could still make out where I'm going. I love this JPEG of a train, by the way. It adds to the whole dreamlike feel since it doesn't even look like it can go anywhere. Yet you hop inside and it's speeding along with passengers and all. Anywho, taking a ride brings us to Witch Island, a place with more people that won't talk to us, and a long bridge that ends with a spoopy looking tree that lets us dress up like a witch. And we can even ride on a broomstick, that's adorable. Did the last 2 minutes just sound like the ravings of a madman? Yeah, that's kind of the thing with this game. With it being a surreal adventure game, every path sends you down a rabbit hole that interconnects with another rabbit hole. And sometimes you find yourself back where you started. Other times, you can talk to a lamppost, find yourself in a segmented checkerboard platform, and open a closet only to find another Medotsky inside. So yeah, when I said enjoy the adventure, I really meant it because that's the game. Become a lamppost so you can find these weird-looking guys in a pitch-black void. Look into a cube only to have your eyes assaulted by an Aztec rave monkey. Find Steve Leaf Kariha, the most obscure NPC in this game, named after the people who found him 15 years ago. And you can even... Is that music? Oh, the Burbs are having a party and... Oh. Oh. Medotsky can't join the party. So, I've touched on it a bit, but yeah. There's a recurring theme throughout this game of loneliness. Being excluded from social interactions or flat out being ignored by anything that could give you the time of day. Obviously, these are due to Medotsky's personal life, one that we never see but can infer from her dreams. I personally don't try to analyze every square inch of this game to try and piece together a picture that might not be complete, but there surely are people that have been doing that for years. I'm a dum-dum, so I don't pick up on anything that isn't base level, but this moment of Medotsky unable to interact with the nice burbs, it made me pause when I first saw it. It made me start to think about the underlying message of this game. And I think it's pretty fitting to have a moment this impactful be followed up by getting lost in the wilderness, finding these weird eye stalk things, and climbing up a giant pyramid to one of the most beautiful, calming areas of this game, the Sky Garden. You still have something that doesn't want to talk to you, but at least you can chill out and watch some UFO with these bros. This is nice. But our adventure is far from over. I mean, we haven't even talked about the knife! No! Yes, if you explore the dark world well enough, you can find the knife effect. It lets you run around, stabbing everything. When you have it out, most things are scared of you and try to get away, and killing things gives you money that you can spend on the vending machines. They give you drinks that increase your heart points, which to my knowledge, does absolutely nothing. The knife is also how you would antagonize the burbs, by the way, but doing that would make all of them angry at you, and even if I wasn't invited to their party, I don't want to lose the few nice people that are here in the dream world, so I'm not going to do that. You know, people often wonder about the knife and why it's in Medotsky's dream world and what it says about her psyche if she can run around as a serial killer pocketing coins to buy some soda. As usual, I don't really think deeply about that situation. Bathroom break! That's better. Now where was I? Oh yeah, the knife. It can be used in certain places to progress in new areas, including this secret area that houses QQ-kun, named after the Japanese onomatopoeia for rubbing things, since that's all he does. This guy is the result of a lot of speculation. Some people think he's representative of something horrible that happened to Medotsky in her past, and others think he's being creepy on purpose just to scare you away. But what would be so bad that he would need to scare... That's the door to Medotsky's room. Huh. If this door in the dream world leads to the Nexus, what does it lead to when you go through it in another location? You know, I feel like seeing Poniko for absolutely no reason right now. There was this big face under the rubbing thing, and it was huge and ran and flashed and leered at me, and it hated me, and I hated it right back, and I couldn't move for like 10 seconds until I finally woke up. By the way, what happens to you when I wake up? Do you just blink out of existence? I'm really, truly, unbelievably sorry if that does happen. Even though you don't talk to me, you seem really nice. I would never want to hurt you. Oh goodness, the face. I'm never going back there as long as I live, and now that I got that all out of my chest, I feel a lot better now. Thanks, Poniko. See ya. In all seriousness, that thing is probably the biggest sign that something's wrong. Whatever is outside this room that Medatsuki refuses to leave, this face is a clear representation of whatever is keeping her here. And it's clear at this point what this game is. Yume Nikki is a game about escapism, and how no matter what you're escaping from, you bring that with you until you deal with it head on. Even if you don't realize it, the emotional and mental effect that whatever you're escaping from is still looming over you, much like it looms over Medatsuki in her dreams. You could be trying to chill out with a show, only for it to remind you of your awful job that you hate. You could be trying to get over a breakup, but a cute couple in a game keeps reminding you of those good times you used to share. I can safely say that I started subconsciously avoiding a lot of games that had to do with police after a big chunk of them started tear gassing and beating people in the street. Without confronting these things, accepting them, not letting them control us, and growing stronger, we are doomed to shamble along carrying this baggage with us until it wears us down, until we can't carry it any longer, something that Medatsuki might fall prey to if she could not face her fears. The thing is, though, you could very well not get that from this game at all. You could see it as a fun, surreal experience. You can see it as a relaxing walk through various beautifully crafted realms. You could see it as a bunch of lol so random stuff. Or you can see it as a character study on what it means to be alone. Medatsuki refuses to leave her room. She only wants to stay there or in her dreams. And in her dreams, she's isolated, occasionally interrupted with another creature or humanoid, but never able to talk to them, never able to confide in someone, to get all of her personal baggage out there and hear how she could potentially deal with any of it. No one talks to her. They look at her, they'll run from her, and some might chase her, but no one talks to Medatsuki. Poniko doesn't even look at her general direction. This thing in the park literally teleports away the moment Medatsuki tries to converse with it. One of the characters you find is Shitai-san, Mr. Corpse. Medatsuki is so lonely that she's given an affectionate nickname to a dead body. She could dream of anything. She could dream of someone to listen to her, to not reject her, to not hurt her, to be part of a social circle she always wanted, but she knows that she's too scared to make that first step even in her dreams, to the point that some weeds are enough to dissuade her from joining a fun party. And I'll just say, that hits close. That hits close to home. There's one last thing I want to bring up about the game, and that's the ending. As I mentioned, the only real goal is to get the 24 effects scattered around the dream realm. Once you acquire all 24 effects, you can go everywhere and do everything for as long as you'd like. But if you ever want to stop, you merely have to go to the Dream Hub, the Nexus, drop all of your effects, and then wake up. It seems like nothing has changed, but a quick visit to Medatsuki's balcony shows a staircase leading up to the edge. From there, you walk up it and jump. Madotsky couldn't face what led to her living a sheltered life, and she couldn't escape the effect it had on her dreams. And so she did the only option she felt she had left, and ended her own life. This ending, even after a decade of seeing it first, is still such an impactful end to a unique and fascinating game. One that many just couldn't accept. A common fan interpretation is that this isn't Madotsky meeting her end. It's merely her leaving the dream world for good, implying that this moment when she wakes up and walks out on her balcony and sees the staircase is still in her dreams. And I mean, there are moments in the game where you can get to new areas just by sleeping in a bed that's in your dreams. What's one more layer? A layer that we didn't even know was there. And well, where did the staircase come from? It wasn't there before. It's not even there in the dream world. There's no way for it to have gotten there through the front door or some crane or something, since her apartment is so high up. So maybe it's not real. Maybe just a symbolic metaphor for her jumping out of her dreams and landing back in reality, ready to change her life and keep on living. Or maybe the dream jellyfish are there to signify that she can't leave her dreams, that any attempt will just send her back to her room, destined to dream forever. We don't know. We might never know what the intent with this ending was or will be. But its effect on the people who played it, on me, it won't be forgotten anytime soon. To say Yume Nikki had an effect on those who played it would be the understatement of the century. I really feel that you can gauge how fans reacted to a work by seeing the fan-made material made for it. Tons upon tons of art detail the game's most quiet moments, and those moments stricken with immense beauty at the complete unknown. There's also quite a lot of art detailing what we've all wanted Madotsky to do. To be friends with Poniko, to enjoy the picnic with those burbs. And yes, there's also a myriad of art depicting the ending and emotions not only Madotsky felt, but surely we felt as the player. But something happened with Yume Nikki. Something that doesn't happen with a lot of games. Yume Nikki didn't just get fan art. It got fan games. A lot of them. How much, you say? I would like you to make an educated guess. How many fan games do you think this cult classic from 2004 has to its name? Did you guess 258? Well, that would be wrong, because it's actually 454. Some of these games are loved enough to have fan art of their own, especially fan art that showcases Madotsky with the protagonists of those respected games. Now, I could spend a lot of time just talking about the big ones: Dot Flow, Lucid Dream, Amnesia, I Cannot Drown, Yume Tagai, but the one I feel like I need to give special attention to is Yume Nikki. This is a massive collaborative effort from around 94 people that has been going from 2007 and is still being added to. The last time it got updated was the 8th of this month. Sorry, but this took a while to make, so the game got updated like 3 more times. This game has been getting updated over the course of 14 years, and I want you to guess how many areas there are in this game. And just for comparison, Yume Nikki only has 48 areas. I'm not going to yank your chain this time. Yume Nikki has 572 areas. Even this isn't right anymore. It's over 600 now. You could play this game for a year and probably not find everything in it. It is quite possibly the most enormous fan game I've ever seen, and dozens upon dozens of fan games are still being made to this day. It's very clear that the love and dedication to this very weird game has not slowed down one bit, and some of you might wonder how exactly that's possible. For at least one explanation, I'd like to direct your attention to the Dream Diary Game Jam, a friendly event where people are tasked with making their own Yume Nikki fan games in a set amount of time. If you're curious to know how many people in this community are still kicking in the back rooms of the internet, the last Game Jam, which was earlier this year, had 41 submissions, and only 10 of those were updated submissions from previous years. People really like Yume Nikki. People will continue to like Yume Nikki until the heat death of the universe. I'm sure a lot of what I said sounds incredibly daunting and unbelievable to some of you, but if what I'm saying interests you even a little, then get on the Yume Nikki fan game wiki and start playing stuff that sparks your interest. But if you want to keep to just Yume Nikki for now, that's fine as well, of course. I left some things out of this video to give those of you who haven't played this game yet some surprises of your own to discover. I didn't even show off the biggest area in the game in this video, so look forward to that if you decide to try it out. The game is and always has been free, so you're free to try it out at your leisure. And that's such a bad joke, I'm sorry. Lastly, there's the case of something that I still can't believe happened. In 2018, a reimagining of this game got released, Yume Nikki Dream Diary, with the creator brought back from their elusive life to supervise the project and offer assistance. This game is very different from the original, and I can guess that a lot of people probably weren't happy with that. The biggest hurdle with the reimagining was an expectations thing. Before we even knew a bunch about the game, it seemed like it was going to be a full-on remake, and it wasn't until later that we got more details and learned it was going to be a bit more different. I went into the game with an open mind and some premeditated condolences, because doing anything regarding Yume Nikki a whole 14 years after the game came out, I am sure that even Kikiyama was sweating a bit, wondering if it would be seen as worthy to live up to its predecessor. What did I think about Dream Diary? I thought it was fine. Would I do a video on it? Sure, why not? It might not be the next thing I do, but I'll try to do it soon. But either way, thank you all so much for watching this. Please let me know about your feelings about Yume Nikki, the fan games, and all that jazz, but only if you want to. Everyone, be safe out there, and take care.